galaxy calls, a chant from the stars to come live in the core. We'll jump together, my friends. Every flash of light's another hand to carry the weight. Jump on board, enter those cars. We're the wandering souls. Come and lend a hand for the distant worlds. Or take a blaster or two, 'cause in those pristine rings there's a fortune for you. We'll work together, my friend, as the mother lode cracks. This might come to an end. Jump on board, enter those chords. Oh, we're the wandering souls. Come and lend a hand for the distant world. Laughter's fire and jump drives count. A voice comes feel, there's a chatter about. The target's set and the world's in your hands. Come and build a hope in the distant lands. Search those systems till there's nothing to find. Leave the trouble in the bubble way behind. This is your chance as the future unfolds. Come and lend a hand on the distant
Forget the Uranus talk. This is the new outro.
According to scientists, Uranus is full of methane gas.
You've been dying for something to replace your Uranus.
I think you're right, though, Colin.
What have you done with Shan, and when can we have him back?
Brilliant.
I don't know. I'm quite attached to this one, to be honest.
Yeah, that butt clenching really was awesome.
I think that is the truest thing I've heard you say.
Hello, Commanders. The next track is The Great Expedition, another piece from my album Aphelion and used on the Elite Dangerous audiobooks. It's dedicated to all those explorers out there on the frontier. If you'd like to listen to more of my work, you can find it on SoundCloud at Alan-Stroud-1.
Lave Radio, Lave Radio, Lave Radio, Lave Radio. Listen to Day-Dio. Dangerous podcast. It's the elite. Lave Radio. So much to say, Dio. This side of DSO, we're loving the heat. I hope someone knows what we're talking about.
They mean disco.
Lave Radio. It's here to stay, Dio. Orange Sidewinder.
This is your crew.
Lave Radio. Hey, 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 Dio. With second technician
Forrester 2.
Who?
Scump.
It's a podcast that's based on a game. Not to listen would be such a shame. It makes other stations sound very lame. That's Lave Radio.
Ooh, swing your pants.
No, Simon, we're not them. We're Pink Custard.
We cut the mustard.
We're never flustered.
We can be trusted.
Lave Radio, this song's for you.
For the Orange Sidewinder crew.
Elite Dangerous is what you do.
And then you talk a lot about it too.
Lave Radio, ready to play Dio.
Search for their website
and off you go. Lave Radio, nothing to pay Dio. Sci-fi gamer, DJ fans, this is your show. Oh, it's a niche audience then. This is radio online called Lave. With DJs Chris's, Alan, John,
but not Dave.
Forever surfing internet airwaves. That's Lave Radio. It's a podcast that's based on a game. Not to listen would be such a shame. It makes other stations sound very lame. That's Lave Radio. Lave Radio. Lave Radio. Lave Radio.
Is this, are you sure it's Lave?
Yeah, Lave Radio.
It's not Love Radio.
Well, no, we all love Lave Radio.
No, but it's not Live Radio.
Oh, well, I don't know whether it's live or Lave Radio live, and we.
I am Mug again.
Forget the Uranus talk. This is the new outro.
According to scientists, Uranus is full of methane gas.
You've been dying for something to replace your Uranus.
I think you're right, though, Colin.
Pardon?
What have you done with Shan, and when can we have him back?
Brilliant.
I don't know. I'm quite attached to this one, to be honest.
Yeah, that butt clenching really was awesome.
I think that is the truest thing I've heard you say for many months. Good stuff.
Galnet News Digest, 8th of April 3307. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, Hesperus hunt commences.
Donning the Dominator.
Etienne's new trick.
Hesperus hunt commences. The listening post, found aboard the derelict megaship Adamastor, and that came to life earlier today, is broadcasting information that may lead to the location of the Adamastor's sister ship, the Hesperus, that has been missing for 200 years. The message it is relaying has a source ID corresponding to the Hesperus. It's unclear how old the message is, but as it ends with a privacy message referencing the Corporate Communications Act of 2984, it seems reasonable to assume that it is not recent. It appears to be an emergency upload of data following a proximity alert, and the proximity was to a Type G megaship. Could the Hesperus have encountered one of the ancient sublight generation ships, perhaps? The navigational data included in the message suggests that there is another beacon to search out in the Taurus region, perhaps the Pleiades, that may give further information. The navigational information provided is cryptic: H1 key negative E, H2 key positive H, H3 key negative C. Commanders are urged to visit the ghost ship Adamastor in the Chukchan system to read the beacon data for themselves and to assist in the search for the Hesperus.
Perhaps slightly disturbingly, commanders who've been visiting the Adamastor are receiving a message from someone calling themselves Salvation, who claims to be a scientist wanting to find out what Azimuth Biochemicals was up to 200 years ago. The initial task, he says, is to follow the trail to the beacons that are forwarding the messages from the Hesperus. Commanders are already planning the search. Donning the Dominator. The Pilots Federation has had an interesting day. Planning to release the Dominator suit into the Odyssey full-sized Galaxy simulator, they accidentally also released the Artemis suit and a set of plasma weapons that have not previously been seen. The Artemis suit permitted a few lucky commanders to go and play with flowers for a little while, before a stern warning from the Pilots Federation was issued asking for the suits and weapons to be returned for a full refund. Commanders are, however, allowed to fly around in the simulator in their Cobra Mark III, taking another commander along as a passenger if they wish, and visiting the sites in a mini 20 light-year bubble. They can buy spaceships, many of which are significantly cheaper than their Maverick and Dominator spacesuits.
They are also encouraged to take part in combat training, in which they get invited by Frontline Solutions to take a dropship ride to a conflict zone and shoot up other commanders in a 12 versus 12 conflict, the outcome of which helps boost the influence of the winning side. And the nice thing is, if you get killed, it's not like real death. The simulation puts you back on the dropship, so you can be dropped off again to get on with the pointless bloodletting. Etienne's new trick. The lightweight engineer, Etienne Dawn of Colonia, the chap who collects occupied escape pods for reasons the police have never quite got to the bottom of, has devised a new way of collecting human meat. He has created special portals in starports and outposts that can suck unsuspecting commanders out of the station and into the vacuum of space. Dawn's eager helpers, keen to unlock his engineering prowess, can then scoop up the hapless involuntary spacewalkers and carry them off to Dawn's secret lair, Kraken's Rest, where Dawn can do whatever unspeakable things he does with them. Commanders who would like Etienne Dawn to do unspeakable things to them, with or without the Dominator suit, are advised to run towards the walls of starports. Etienne will be waiting for you with his fava beans and Chianti.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news, so you don't have to.
Forget the Uranus talk. This is the new outro.
According to scientists, Uranus is full of methane gas.
You've been dying for something to replace your Uranus.
I think you're right, though, Colin.
Pardon?
What have you done with Shan, and when can we have him back?
Brilliant.
I don't know. I'm quite attached to this one, to be honest.
Yeah, that butt clenching really was awesome.
I think that is the truest thing I've heard you say for many months. Good stuff.
Journey too long, no cargo too small. Profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We're taking anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading all the teen out to the brim with the rest for the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more. To sing the trucker song. Flossie always seems to crash into the sun. Kibble lights the pilot on the Xbox One. Halving out the free, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody out for the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hurtin' Truckers song. For the more, for the more, for the more. You know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hurtin' Truckers song. So give me a large path that I can land on, and I'll give you cargo and sing you my song. No point 22 light years to go, cruising to no journey too long, no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We're taking anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud, loud. You don't even care for the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hurtin' Truckers song. For the
Staying there for very long.
For the more.
Colin,
Yeah, you know just where we're coming from.
there's a big chat in the show notes about the CM team and Discord and all that stuff. I'm minded to suggest we don't need to report on this. I don't think it's
Hello, Commanders. My name is Tiedemann, and next up, you're listening to my track 2 Seconds to War. If you like to listen to more of my work, please visit soundcloud.com/Tiedemann. Fly safe and enjoy the show here on Lave Radio.
Forget the Uranus talk. This is the new outro.
According to scientists, Uranus is full of methane gas.
You've been dying for something to replace your Uranus.
I think you're right, though, Colin.
Pardon?
What have you done with Shan, and when can we have him back?
Brilliant.
I don't know. I'm quite attached to this one, to be honest.
Yeah, that butt clenching really was awesome.
I think that is the truest thing I've heard you say for many months. Good stuff.
The Lave Radio project was our last best hope for news. A self-contained podcast 2 hours long, located in neutral territory. A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads, community members, and developers. A shining beacon in space, all alone on a Tuesday night. It was the dawn of the 3rd chapter of Elite. The year's space legs came upon us all. This is the story of the last of the Lavian stations. The year is 3307. The name of the place? Lave Radio.
Good evening, everyone. Greetings, commanders, and welcome to episode 337 of Lave Radio, the show that likes to talk about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Phoenix to Fire, Chief Archivist of Lave Station, otherwise known as Colin Ford, and joining me in the orange Sidewinder bar for this episode, we have our Head of Health and Safety, Ben Moss Woodward, otherwise known as Commander Edelweiss.
Sally's back!
Spoilers. We also have our staff liaison, that is Commander Psykit.
Hi, Sally's back! Woohoo!
We also have our Inhuman Resources Director, Commander Shan.
Hello, Sally who?
Ouch.
And our Tech Monkey, Commander Ventura, is on sound tonight.
Hello.
Hello. Right. If you wish, you can join us in game. We are in game somewhere. Ben, where are we tonight?
At the moment, I am with the lovely Hesperus.
Mm-hmm.
I may or may not be popping into Odyssey as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the moment, I'm with the Hesperus, and I'm also crazy excited that we get Dredges finally in game.
Yeah, I know. I must admit.
Again.
Well, officially.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Yes, but if you can't get to us in game, you can always join us in the Twitch chat, which you can access through laveradio.com/live. Click on the live chat, go straight to twitch.tv/radio, Lave Radio rather, or Lave Radio on YouTube, or Lave Radio in Facebook. We're there, the lot of us. So we'll quickly go round the team, the crew, see what they've been up to. We'll start with Ben this week.
What have I been doing? I've been playing Odyssey, smelling around the Hesperus, playing Sea of Thieves, playing No Man's Sky, playing Among Us, and then not getting a haircut yet.
Right, nothing new there?
No, not really.
Nothing new there then. Okay, Psykit, what have you been mucking about with?
Playing Odyssey, playing. Apparently, I've heard that other games do exist. I've forgotten. It's been that long since I've played any other game than Elite. I had some. For anyone who might not know, I have lots of different chronic pain things that go on, and I had a really, really good breakthrough with regard to my chronic pain over the weekend, where I was productive even though I was in pain. So it was a really good weekend for that, but then nothing else happened. That's about it.
Oh, that's kind of good, but glad to hear at the same time.
Yeah, it's a bad thing, but also a really good thing, because it feels like I've got more of a mental handle on everything, which is always nice.
Nice. Wish I had a mental handle on anything, to be honest, at the moment. Shan.
Oh, let me see. Out of game, I've been doing relatively boring stuff, such as identifying the circuits in the house that need to be hooked up to the solar batteries, so that if the power goes off, those parts of the house don't. And I've been... Well, we'll talk about Odyssey stuff later, so I'm going to leave what I've been doing on Odyssey till later. But today I decided to try out... Do you remember we talked about the AFK Type 10 thing for making money?
Oh, yes, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so I got my Type 10 and decked it out according to what the spec was to see exactly how efficient it was.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, it's rubbish. It was quick. I mean, yes, I get you can go to sleep overnight and you may wake up with 50 million credits, but because I did 3 hours of bounty hunting in a Hazres and 3 hours of watching paint dry my Type 9 shoot things, and my kill and earning rate playing the game properly was way in advance of what this Type 10 could do. So yes, if you want to go to sleep and wake up to some money, I guess you can do it, but it ain't fun, it ain't efficient, and it's cheesy.
Yeah. I mean, to tell you the truth, the whole point about that is that you just basically go to bed and come back richer, isn't it? You know, you don't want to just sit there watching your ship do all the work for you.
Well, I worked out the fuel. I worked out the fuel consumption rate, and you can't go AFK all night or for several hours because you can run out of fuel. So, as I say, if that's people's thing, then fine, but it's not efficient in terms of credits per hour.
According to Little Bigian, you missed a trick. Apparently,
no, I did stack the master. I did. Stack
did stack them.
I did all that, and it was still. To be fair, I spent I included this running around stacking missions in my earnings per hour calculations. So
in-depth calculations, lovely.
Well, I wanted to test it. You know, did it work? What was the rate? And as I say, if you want a minimum amount of combat effort, it kind of works. But I think I'd rather reach Elite the proper way on my other accounts because, yeah, you know.
Yeah. Right. Well, now that we're all let's see what's Vi been up to. Basically, alpha, non-alpha stuff, and work, and I think that's about it. Although I have almost finished Mass Effect 3 for the third time, so yeah, I'm going to have to walk away and avoid the Legendary Edition, otherwise I'll just miss out on things again. So
what's in the Legendary Edition as opposed to the normal edition?
They've basically redone all the graphics, made it feel as if it's a lot more joined up between 1, 2, and 3, and all the DLCs. And I think the rumor is that they've made some changes to the ending that makes it a little bit more palatable for some people.
You mean it has one?
Oh, we're not getting into the Mass Effect 3 ending debate again. This is an Elite Dangerous podcast. I'm not having that kind of salt on here. So, what has been happening this week? What are the devs happening this week? Well, obviously, on Thursday, Odyssey Alpha Phase 2 dropped. And I think I have to say my jaw dropped, because for me, this basically took it up another level. I'm going to admit I didn't really enjoy Alpha 1. Not as much as other people have, but this one really kind of did it for me. We'll just have a quick talk round the table. First impressions, Ben?
Frontline's loads of fun. I'll agree with. I'm going to maintain what we said last week about there are turds in the pool.
Yep.
But I really do. I like what they've done with Frontline Solutions. Why the hell it's a vulture and not a dropship, I don't know.
Could it be because it's a small
for
ship?
A reason.
Is it because it's a small ship? And a dropship's a medium one?
It's still called dropship for a reason. It's not called the Federal gunship, for example.
You can't have a federal ship taking troops into battle in an imperial system. I mean, that's guaranteed to start a war, isn't it?
In that case, then we just need to have an imperial dropship too.
Yeah, hang on. Would you mind just making that as well, Frontier? That'd be really great.
Exactly.
Well, it'd be dead easy for an imperial dropship. You just kind of paint it white
and give it
make the lines a little smoother.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. The dropship, you cannot make that look pretty.
I bet you they'll try.
No, you could hand that over to Guatemala and they just turn back and wait, nope, that's beyond us. Go on, take your turd of a ship back.
Well, it'd be like the equivalent of the Cybertruck, wouldn't it? You look at all Teslas, they're all sleek and aerodynamic, and the Cybertruck is just angles. So, yeah, Guatemala could do a federal dropship. Just call it the Cyber Dropship or something.
I don't know. I've always seen the Vulture as a heavy fighter.
Yeah,
that's what it's designed for. That's what it's designed for, isn't it?
It was a bit of a shock to actually get in one, wasn't it?
Yeah. So saying that though, I love the whole putting us into the drop harnesses and then kicking us out the cargo bay is awesome. I love the effect. I think when we get to the whole combined arms thing working properly, that'll be amazing. It's a bit iffy at the moment, I think.
Yep, and we'll go into that probably in detail later.
But I'm really enjoying what we've got so far without diving in to everything too much. Otherwise, we'll just be talking about this all night, which we'll
we will
doing
be
anyway.
So, Psykit.
Oh, I love it. They really know it. Okay, I'm going to try and be as objective as I can, but it really does scratch that itch that I miss Counter-Strike so much. No, none of my friends play it anymore. It really scratches that itch. It feels when it works, and I mean the difference between the low and the high is palpable, and I really like that. The high is much more of a struggle, and that's really good. It feels balanced. I just really like it. I think it's a lot of fun.
Excellent. Shan.
Are we deep diving now? We're not. Okay, fair enough. Okay, first impressions. Like you, Colin, it was good to get back in the ship rather than sit in the back of a taxi all the time. My main fun I've had in the phase 2 has been testing combat balance, because I've been doing experiments on Ben, TJ, Millstone Barn, and all sorts of people like that to test out the effects of various weapons and tactics on players on the ground. So, as was noticed in the forum, dumbfire missiles are extremely effective against players. And we went into a conflict zone, and I was hovering above there with my Cobra, plus mainly decked out with dumbfires, but also I had a plasma accelerator, a mine launcher, and a cannon to test stuff. And so I could just basically float around and rain death on people from afar.
In what world, Shan? I didn't feel threatened once.
Millstone Barn did.
Yeah, well, Millstone Barn's a wimp.
Anyway,
you did no damage to me, and I was right next to MSB. So you did kill MSB once.
A few times. Anyway, the main fun I had this week was I jumped my SRV on top of a building in a conflict zone, and I could rotate the turret and basically make it a machine gun of death for all the players in there. So by using the NPC, by trapping it in the structure of the roofs, you could kind of glitch the hitboxes so you couldn't get got, but your SRV guns could just like shred everything. So that was very cackle worthy.
Yeah, I must admit the balance of this thing is it's a big thing that we've all had.
The other thing we
big
tried,
argument about.
yeah,
but
the other thing we tried was how far away can you get with a ship before the base starts turning on you? And it turns out that if you're less than about 10 kilometers, things, and if you try and do the hover and bomb it from range bit, that's not terribly effective below about 10 kilometers because the base will just get you. So the approach you have to use, and admittedly the Cobra isn't the best ship for that, but we can talk about that once we can actually test it, is to basically do strafing runs with dumbfires. So you go as fast as you can, strafe the place with dumbfires, and then loop back out of range. And you can do that a few times if you're quick.
What about with the mines, Shan? How much damage do they do?
Mines look spectacular. I mean, they do look amazing when they go off, but I didn't manage to get anyone with mines. Plasma accelerator, you have to actually hit the player to do one. So splash damage, as we thought, would be minimised with plasma, but dumbfires were effective so long as, I mean, what they had done with splash damage with dumbfires is quite cool, because if they use the building to kind of act as a barrier for the splash damage, so the splash damage doesn't go through the building and get the player. So if they're out in the open, the splash damage is immense. If you're in an alleyway or otherwise sheltered in an alcove, the splash damage is reduced.
Right. Well, let's see what else has been happening. Obviously, one thing that did take me by surprise was that in small print on the pre-order on the PC, it says that the alpha ends on the 30th of April. Now, do you guys think that's the last time you can actually purchase the alpha? Or
Frontier actually weighed in on this on the stream this evening.
Yeah.
Take it away, Psykit, then.
Oh, sorry. Bruce said that he recognised someone in chat asking about it, and he said, with everything, it's all subject to change. So, with everything that we've heard from the alpha so far, that's a placeholder date more than a date that is set in stone. It might be the last date that you can buy it as the deluxe edition, but as far as like that.
Didn't they drop hints that it was sometime mid-May when it would probably go live?
That was a shareholders report that they did. They said they would be the end. They were looking at the end of May for it going live. Again, that could have changed as well. There hasn't been another. As far as I'm aware, there hasn't been another shareholders report go out. If there has, by all means.
Yeah, I mean, they did publish the plan, and phase 4 will come into being around the 30th of April, won't it? Where we've got our existing commanders go into the alpha.
Phase 3 is starting on Thursday, so
fingers crossed.
According to the plans, that was again confirmed that development aside, it should be Thursday. That it will come out, which would mean, and they are aiming for weekly phases. They confirmed that as well, but that would mean that our commanders would get inserted to the game on the 22nd, which essentially still gives us enough time for it to end on the 30th. Again, that is definitely going to be subject to change.
Definitely. Right. So, if you want to get into the alpha, now's your chance. Going
what
through.
were you wanting to say?
Yeah, sorry. Just a quick thought what Sai was saying. The information they gave about being end of May, is that before they announced the console delay, or is that after they
Was that on that same bit? when they said we're going to have the game out and then we're looking to get the consoles out. I believe, and I am shaky with this wording because it's a little while ago that I saw that, but they were looking to get it out by the end of May, and then consoles as soon as possible after, I believe.
That seems awfully quick, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, this alpha is going through at quite a pace, isn't it?
It's going through at quite a pace, but I don't feel anything's particularly rushed so far. I mean, I feel I've done everything that I felt I wanted to do in stage 2, and now I'm just enjoying it.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, there was a hotfix. Hotfix number 3 came out on Monday. There does seem to be a pattern where what happens is they do sort of like 2 or 3 hotfixes after a release, and then it seems that any other fixes they do is held over until what comes along on the Thursday. So, yeah. There was also a call for some focused feedback by Bruce on the forums. He would like thoughts and suggestions on the current inventory system. Things to consider are player inventories, which are suits, ship inventory, consumables, engineering materials, and transferable items. Shan?
Yeah, what springs to mind with the current inventory system is, do you remember the scene in the Raiders of the Lost Ark where you've got the guy who's like whirls his sword around and goes hiya, and then Indy just gets his gun out and shoots him? Well, the guy trying to get through the swords is trying to access his inventory in Odyssey because it is just unbelievably clunky. It just really is, and it needs a real rework because there's no have you tried quickly getting a med pack with a mouse? You play the Wheel of Fortune and hope you get on the right item in time. So the inventory and suit stuff is, engineering materials. I did some missions, but I'm leaving my thoughts on the engineering materials required until we get live, because at the moment it seems as though you have to do an awful lot of missions to get enough to do that, because current missions give you 2 or 3 or however many of items you need, not just one. But I'm figuring that may well be a balance thing, so I'm kind of leaving that one to that.
Okay, Ben, just quickly.
While Shan takes a breath.
Yeah.
So I did go and actually, Will was asked, not Will, God, I've been talking to Will on Twitter. It wasn't Will. It was new Will. Zach. Was it
New
Zach?
Will.
No. Somebody was asking what the issue was.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're now seeing the advanced age of Edelweiss beginning to kick in.
Somebody was asking. One of the CMs was asking about what the issue was with the wheel. And I went off and made a video, like, this is the problem with the wheel. We can't use the bloody thing. Try using a mouse.
Yeah. Psykit.
You can use your keys as well with the wheel. You can use WASD with them. With the wheel that does health packs, and yes, it is clunky and difficult to use. I completely agree with you, but you can use if you press down the key for your wheel and then use A or D, you can quickly.
I'm still jabbing between the 2 items because I've got both the wheel, I've got both my mouse and the WASD keys, and if I press it. And let's say I want to get a diagonal, then I'm pressing F and D, and it's like toggling between the 6 o'clock, the 5 o'clock, the 4 o'clock position.
Oh, 100%. It is clunky. They need their own keys. They entirely need their own keys to be be efficient. We need a hotkey in the same way that we need a hotkey for turning, that we've got a hotkey for turning your shields on and off. We need it for a med pack and a
Let's face it, we've got a hotkey for eject or bloody cargo.
Yeah.
Hotkey for my help for healing. That'd be nice.
Shan, your second point.
Yeah, well, the last thing I was going to say on this particular topic was about the transferring of items, and
I haven't
I
done
think,
that yet.
well, you
So
can't. I
tempting.
don't think.
I didn't even know we could.
You can.
How?
How? Yeah, go on. How do we do this?
What, for like transferring items to and from your ship? Do you mean?
Oh no,
to players.
Each other.
Oh no, you can't do that. Why would you do that? You can't do that anyway.
I
Well,
thought you were.
but
but
my
you-
point is, sorry,
make
Colin.
it.
Yes, sorry, Colin. What transferring items would allow you to do is for someone to play a medic role or a support role, dropping ammo and stuff like that. So it just kind of makes a support role more viable. And there are lots of people who like playing support roles. So if you can drop items, you can play support, and that's an element of gameplay that you just can't do if you can't pass items to another player.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were going to. People were going to be able to do that, but
I'd love to see something like that in game.
So quickly moving on from there. Obviously, Tuesday it's early. Oh, hang on, Ben, support. You were wanting to talk about.
Well, if we're going to get support, yes, okay, I want to give you health packs, but ideally, I want to give you health or give you power. I want to run up behind you and say, transfer power from my suit to yours or something like that.
You're not plugging anything into me, Ben.
I didn't say where I was plugging it. Or I want to be able to plug in. I want to somehow give you health packs and run up behind you, give you a jab into your suit, which magically allows me to inject you with health.
So you put a jab into my sealed suit, which now exposes it to the very thin atmosphere, and I then go flying around like a balloon.
Or
it could be there's a port on your suit.
Yeah, what a really nice, attractive port that he could plug into for sure.
Do you have any ports on your suit, Jan, for me to plug things into?
I haven't even dared look at ports that you could use, Ben. But I mean, I think the demand is there, or the requirement is there for some sort of support role. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't mind having you be able to plug in, into someone else's suit to give them power or whatever, because it's the classic kind of diver thing, isn't it, where they share the oxygen tank to survive and all that sort of stuff. So I wouldn't mind that as long as it was at the expense of the other person's power or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
like how your eye says one person running to and fro from a PowerPoint, taking all the power that they can, running back, plugging someone else in who's in the middle of a big firefight. Is that
something like that? Or even if you're exploring with someone else, if they haven't got enough oxygen, then you can share your oxygen so they can get back.
Don't. Any questions?
Yeah, just long enough to be able to get your ship back and stuff like that. So the ground version of the fuel rats as well, to some extent.
Yeah, why not?
That's a really cool idea. I really like that.
And especially if it gets like power either from our ships or from our SRVs. I think these would be great things. One thing I've noticed, actually, talking about power, have you guys done any of the scavenger missions? Especially the crashed SRV, not the SRV, the crashed fighter.
I've come across a crash fighter.
Okay.
Oh, is this the one with the missions that we saw in the Obsidian Ant video with?
I don't know if it's a mission, but it's if you visit a crashed fighter, you can use your welder, your cutter thing, to take off the fighter's top panel, and that's got the same power unity things that we plug into the bases.
Yes, it has, and you can also find certain. If you find SRVs, they've got panels on the back of them that you can cut off with an arc cutter, and there's lovely little bits in there. However, when you do discover one of these SRVs, you will find a cowboy, a dead cowboy.
Yes.
Now, I
found two dead cowboys lying on top of each other. I don't know what they're doing there.
I can't.
You've not seen Brokeback Mountain? Do you not know?
I just can't quit you. Anyway. I do wonder whether or not there's a little nod to the cowboy hat wearing Sandro Samarco there. Maybe something.
I've not seen any space loaches, unfortunately, and I wish I had.
Space loaches.
Yeah, Shan, go on. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the picture of the cowboy NPC drifting in space, I did. My first thought was, oh, so that's where that passenger went. But yeah, I just wonder if it is something to do, a nod towards Sandro. But I don't know. That seems awfully sad for it to be a Sandro, personally.
This is what happens when Shan gives a lift to a cowboy convention. Anyway. So, obviously, in other Super Cruise news, everyone, or even if you heard earlier, Sally is back. Our friend of the show, Sally, has returned as a CM for the moment. She was unveiled by a cut-off panel as part of the show today. So, guys, are we glad to see Sally back? Because
she was. I met her a couple of times. The most notable time was at the last LaveCon, where she was wielding a handheld chain gun around, aiming it at various members of Frontier, if I remember rightly. But she's really good, really jolly, and I'm glad she's decided to come back, because I think she'll add a degree of fun to the CN team.
A bit of balance instead of so many Anchorman quotes. Right. Judging by the fact that Ben and Psykit all squeed Sally's back when they first signed on, I'm assuming that they're quite positive about it as well.
Yeah,
we love Sally. She's awesome.
So much. So I'm when they mentioned that they were introducing the new CM, I did DM a couple of my mates and go, I really, really hope that it's a woman, because there's quite a lot of shows out there to do with Elite Dangerous that are complete sausage fest, and
you think?
Yep. So I was very excited to see a woman, doubly excited to see the beautiful, beautiful human being that is Sally Morgan Moore.
Yeah, excellent news. Right. Shall we move on to the in-game events?
Why not?
Right. Why not? Obviously, the big thing that happened this Thursday was that there was clues laid to the location of the other missing ship, which is supposed to have contacted or had contact with an alien species. The Hesperus has now actually been found. It took a surprisingly long amount of time this time.
I think it was 3 days for them to find it this time.
Yeah, it was late Saturday night.
About 10 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah, and let's just say they were hampered a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think it's gone down quite well as one of the better little treasure hunts, if you like. And we discovered not only the ship itself, but also the debut in the live game of a space dredger. Now, what do we all think of the space dredger? Let's go, Ben.
I love it. It's so... The audio, as ever, is great. I mean, you enter the teeth of that thing, and it sounds great. It does something unique, though, as far as I'm aware. So if you can make me full screen, I'll fly into it. No, I am full screen. Thank you very much, Norman. If I go in here...
Oh, you're there, aren't you? Yes.
I'm there. Right. I'm now taking my feet... My hands are off my throttle. And as you can see... Sorry, I'm speaking loudly because this is noisy. I'm actually being pulled in.
Oh, dear. Can you get out?
You can... If I reverse out at the moment, I can.
Right. Is that an Event Horizon sort of thing?
Hang on.
No, it looks like a Crushing Horizon to me.
Yeah, so Ben, go flight assist off. Go flight assist off and see what happens.
Oh, if I don't even have to go flight assist off. If I were to stop myself from, if I were to not escape from that, I get pulled into the teeth and I get chewed up.
I don't believe you, Ben.
And basically deaded, I take it.
I get chewed up and deaded.
Yes.
Yes, that's wrong, Ben. I don't believe you. You need to
You
try
don't
it.
believe me, do you? Would you like me to do it for science? Would you? And
Well,
we'll
I would like you to go to flight assist off to see
Okay.
whether you speed up or what's the effect
Right.
of flight assist off.
Does the stream think I should go flight assist off as well?
Do.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they all want to. They
let me
all
just get
want
out
to see
of
Ben turn
range
into
as
little
well.
Ben bits.
Sorry, viewers. In order to do the flight assist off, Ben actually needs to learn how to fly assist off.
I'm trying to just get myself into a position before I just get chewed up. Okay, flight assist off, and I'm being pulled in already.
Mm-hmm. Spinning, that's a good trick.
Very quickly.
Anyway.
Oh, there's an asp going in as well. Oh, Jesus, you go fast.
Oh my gosh.
My goodness, that is a hungry hippo there, isn't it? Chomp, 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 dead Ben. Right. Now, I do like the lore of what they've done with this, because these dredgers are kind of like living generation ships. They're called dredger clans. These the people that live aboard them, and apparently there are thousands of them. They're kind of like little colonies in space that travel star to star, and basically chew up asteroids to keep them going. Shan.
Yeah, I really like that, because when I first read about the space dredger in the Elite Classic manual, I sort of had a picture of like a red dwarf. In my mind, the space dredgers were a red dwarf belonging to Jupiter Mining Corporation, and they were like a corporate mining vessel that used to fly around. But this adding this raider or this whatever generation ship, I kind of like that. Because again, it still fits in with the red dwarf a bit, but I think it's a really positive addition, actually. So I like it, and I like them even more because they just ate Ben.
He munched Psykit.
They come into the game. Were they not like mistakenly put into the game for like 2 weeks?
No.
Yes, they were. Well, they're in the beta, weren't they?
Yeah, they were in the beta.
I knew that they were somewhere, but then they sort of like disappeared and vanished off the face of the earth. And now we have like a small explanation of why they vanished as well. I think it's really clever. I really like what they've done. I just wanted to double check that they had been in the game before.
They weren't in the proper game before, and to tell you the truth, it was only the front section, the chewing bit,
right?
That seemed to be as a megaship. They've gone and taken a standard megaship and put the chewing bit on the end, which it works. It looks absolutely fine. Now, according to Arf, this is the beginning of a new thread or plot line, and well, is anybody going to be nervous if one of those turn up in a star system and think, that's a nice space station? I think I'll head over there.
It does strike me to be like the Doomsday Machine in that Star Trek episode.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
But I'm just delighted they've finally got space dredgers in there proper, because, again, I remember seeing them in the Elite Manual.
Mm-hmm.
And in my naivety back then, I thought, well, if it's in the Elite Manual, they must be there. And there's all sorts of rumors flying around the magazines and things like that at the time about people claiming to have space dredgers in games who have seen them. And I spent hours and hours and hours in Classic Elite trying to find space dredger.
Funny that. So did I. Did just as much time as I did spending looking for the black hole that you could allegedly find, or even better, Raxler itself. Yeah. Space Raccoon. No, though I don't think they'll be putting Xeno bunnies in Phase 3.
Too terrifying.
Yes. Yeah. Basically. Oh, did you know that? The in Dungeons and Dragons, there is actually stats for the bunny in Monty Python's Holy Grail. It's nasty.
Is it essentially infinite of everything or something like that?
No, it's actually got only 16 hit points, but the chances of you actually hitting it are very remote. Psychic.
I have just entirely again lost my train of thought. Give me just a second, guys. I think something really cool might have just happened. Give me half a mo.
Oh no!
I've just been made Twitch partner.
Wow!
I just got partner. Literally right now, I just had an email. I'm sorry, that was what distracted me. I would be absolutely terrified. Of anything dropping into my system like that. I've just got a new system. And for anyone to drop into my system. Oh my gosh. Talk amongst yourselves, lads.
Okay, I'll go back to the bunnies and congrats, Psykit. Well deserved. Yes, so Xeno bunnies. I hope they are, but the question is, Colin, and only you can answer this: is the Xeno bunny actually alive, or is it an undead, or is it mineral? So because that is it purely made out of calcium carbonate then?
I have no idea what was the xenomorph made out of anyway? They never explained what that is.
The Xeno bunny. No, we're talking about Xeno bunny, not xenomorph.
Yeah, but you'd think it'd be made out of probably the same stuff.
It was chitinous exoskeleton, wasn't it? So it was like an insect kind of crust.
Yeah.
Some kind of hard insect that works okay in a vacuum as well.
So moving on from psycho bunnies. Now this one
Xeno bunnies. You've just made something worse. You called them psycho bunnies, psycho Xeno bunnies. That's even worse.
I'm moving on from this. Right. Oh dear, this is just a killer. This one,
like psycho Xeno bunnies. Sorry.
For those of you who want to see how it was done, Canon has put a full explanation on their website. We'll put a link in the show notes, and you can follow this one through. It has acknowledged everybody who came up with their first discovery, so you can find out who managed to do what where. So at the moment, Psykit is basically a blubbering mess. So we'll
yes, and we won't do the
blubbering mess.
4 years and I've done it. Sorry. Anyway, talk about yourself.
It's all right. We won't do the old sort of news reporter trick. So, Sai, you've worked for years and years and years to get your Twitch partner. How do you feel? Anything of that?
Ridiculous. I applied on the 23rd of April, of 23rd of February, and they've only just got back to me. So I'm a little. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel totally derailing everything.
This is awesome. So,
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I literally can't believe it.
Well, you could do the other journalist trope of, so Psykit, you've been working at this for so long. What do you want to do now?
I don't know, man. I want to get that. I want to get that chuffing purple check mark. That's what I want.
You need to think of an acceptance speech for the end, Sai. Like this is your Oscar speech moment. So have a think, and
I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you.
Don't forget to thank your gran and all things like that.
Right. Okay. I think it's about time for the latest store alert.
Store alert!
In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. A store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert. Which one will you buy?
after that exciting interlude, I'm afraid to say it's the Asp Explorer that gets a little bit of fresh paint this time. The Crossfire set of paint jobs or skin jobs or whatever you want to call them, they are all available for your purchase in the Frontier store. So, would you be buying? Anybody be buying one?
Well, I think it looks a bit like an IKEA bedspread.
I actually quite like it, but maybe that's
I do. But it's sort of like a something IKEA would sell you, I think.
Weren't skin jobs
It's a replicant,
term for
for replicants, yes.
Yeah. Or it's what the Cylons called the humans. Or was that meatbags?
No, the skin jobs, wasn't it? The humans called the Cylons.
No, the humans called the Cylons toasters.
I thought it was only the
skin jobs were the Sharons and the
Oh, don't make me watch Battlestar Galactica again.
But someone in chat will tell us which is correct. Is it the humans calling Cylons skin jobs, or is it Cylons calling humans skin jobs? So chat knows everything.
The problem is if I start watching one episode to find that blooming answer, I'll have to end up watching the whole blooming 4 seasons again and get very disappointed at the end. Well, there was they split the last season into 2 halves.
Yeah, it was definitely from Blade Runner as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Definitely from Blade Runner.
So yes, shipskins, definitely. Right. I think we're going to take a advert break. Hopefully, if see if Psykit has recovered by the time this is finished, and we'll get back with the main discussion.
The Federal Navy. We want you for Adventures Unlimited.
Just last week I was mixing Sidewinder slammers at a seedy space bar. I wasn't even pilot registered. And now I have a ship and a basic starting mission for the Federal Navy.
Owing to recent actions in the Lave region, the Federal Navy now seeks to recruit another 1,000 entry-level pilots. We need you to add your strength to our military machine.
I'm going to see the galaxy.
We have missions for all pilots, regardless of combat experience or flight hours. Come and talk to us and we'll get you on the military ladder. Join the Federal Navy. Make a real pilot of yourself, or die trying.
Wait, what's that? Is that a ship coming? Are they looking for me? What do they...
This is a public service announcement from the Fuel Rats. Please stop what you're doing and pay attention. If we can rescue you, we will, but you can help us help you by following these easy steps. 1. Fly 50 light seconds or so from the system's main star and drop out of supercruise. 2. Note down the current system and the nearest stellar body. 3. If you're on emergency life support, log out immediately. 4. Go to fuelrats.org and click Get Help. 5. Stay calm, hold your breath, and let our seasoned professionals do what they do best. The Fuel Rats. We have fuel, you don't. Any questions?
I could murder a cup of tea. Yorkshire Gold, if you have it. Double Yorkshire Gold. And if you don't have it, you're dead. Lave Radio, broadcasting to every corner of the galaxy.
Eddie Lee Wise here. Our family-run business looks after all your sartorial needs. Whether you need something to turn your pink python purple, or you want to wrap your buns up in a nice tight flight suit, my husband Ken can sort you right out. He's an expert at inside leg, and my wife Barbs is a whiz with a sewing machine. Bespoke tarting for you and your ship. Visit Eddie and Sons, plus me daughters, at Lave Station. Right, sir. Cough, please.
Well, Chan?
Yeah?
What phrase of Mike's alive do you not understand?
I'm on push to listen again.
Oh dear, he's on Planet Shan again. Well, welcome back, everybody. We have a recovered Psykit yet?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, we see the little tick in the chat box already. So, gosh, she's not going to stop about it, is it? It's going to be from now on. Oh, now that I'm a Twitch partner, or did you know Twitch partner? Anyway, Elite Dangerous. We put out a question last week about what people thought of alternative or additional ranks coming into the system, and we got quite a lot of replies, mostly on the forum thread. So, who would like to start off with this one? Because I'm afraid to say I haven't been able to keep up with it because of other stuff.
I think it's reasonably safe to say the balance was tipping towards leaving things as they are and having Elite in Combat as the top rank. But I'm going to not talk about this week if I can. So I will let other people talk about their comments on it. But as I say, on the whole, I think the majority was that didn't see a need for more elite ranks and etc. But I want to touch on why I think possibly people feel the need to when I come about my comments about Odyssey this week. So it's kind of linked in.
Right. Okay then. Ben, did you have a chance to look through the thread, see what you thought?
Basically, I've been keeping an eye more on the poll, which is saying, ranks above elite, i.e., Archangel, is 15%.
Mm-hmm.
The existing ranks to be spread out more, i.e., very harmless, very deadly, 2%. Prestige mechanics, 16%. Ranks for things like mining or xeno hunting and things like that.
Yeah.
That's fairly high at 27%, and then leave the bloody things alone at 40%. A lot of people are saying as Shan said, leave it alone. For a variety of reasons. Well, it's like I've worked bloody hard to get my elite rank even. I don't want to do it again. And if we suddenly come up with Archangel, I'm going to feel to do it again, and I don't want to do that.
I think the general consensus was that Elite should remain as the top rank. You can't
especially
have
for combat.
Yeah, especially for combat. But apart from that, it did seem to go all over the place. A lot of people did seem to mention that trade and exploration need a rebalance. But apart from that...
Yeah, I mean, Drew summarizes it just like, very similar opinion to Shan, by quoting what elite means. And then, which is a select group that is superior in terms of ability or qualities compared to the rest of a group of society.
Mm-hmm.
Elite is the top rank by definition. Anything more than elite is like those annoying kids in the playground who say stuff like infinity +1. It's simply nonsense and wrong. It doesn't get with the lore or of any of the previous games, with the possible exception of Elite Plus and the reviled Archangel rank.
Reviled.
So that's what Drew is saying. The reviled Archangel rank. So number 5, leave it alone, is the correct answer.
Okay, Shan.
I just was looking at the survey and things like that, and I was wondering, and yes, Inara kind of gives us a vague idea, but I wonder what proportion of players have an elite rank versus those who have just purchased the game. So because we tend to think, oh, everyone's elite and stuff like that, but are they? If you look at how many people bought the game, I'm just wondering how many are actually elite. But you're elite in something, aren't you, Ben?
I'm elite in trade and exploration, but I'm not elite. Elite to me is elite in combat.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking about. You get it's the same as an MMO, where what percentage of players reaches max level and gets the legendary armor. So I don't know. I tend to think it was a bit of a pyramid, where the vast majority of players stop somewhere around competent, maybe. But
I think if you have a look at Xbox or PlayStation achievements, it's something ridiculous like the majority of people never even buy another ship.
Yeah, so I don't know.
That scared me.
And on the Elite Plus thing, I thought, why is it called Elite Plus on the PC and the original PC version? And then I remembered there was a version of Elite that was just purely wireframe out on the PC.
Yeah.
And then Elite Plus came along with filled-in bits, and the reason why it was called Elite Plus was to differentiate it between the wireframe version and the filled-in version. So it wasn't Elite Plus because of the rank; it was just, if you like, it was like the Elite Legendary Edition.
I think we just used Elite Plus as a way to say, right, this is Elite Plus 1. That's all it was meant. Psykit.
Averse to there being like elite and then like extra badges that you get for completing certain tasks, or like the Archangel rank was based on completing certain mission kind of stuff. Is that right? Is that what the
that goes under the prestige rank thing, doesn't it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
No, not really. That's a different thing.
Not prestige, not like just continuing doing what you're doing, but more like Boy Scout badges. And I know even saying it out loud, I know how dumb and lame that sounds. But like just like extra achievements that you can get other than just like Elite Plus, or it's Elite with a little anti-Xeno badge with it, or Elite with a little this with it, and then you can choose what path you want to do when you do achieve those elite ranks.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Shan, just quickly.
Yeah, just quick on what I said. I personally, I haven't got an issue with that because it's not elite combat. It's you're a Thargoid killer or whatever it is. I mean, you can call. I don't like the idea. I don't like calling them achievements. In-game achievements like Steam achievements or Xbox achievements. I haven't got a problem with you earning a different rank or a decal or whatever on your ship for doing stuff, because hey, why not? You've done something in game, show it off. But so a decal on your ship for soloing you get a bobblehead for soloing a Thargoid. But you know what I mean? That sort of thing as I was talking about. Yeah, let's have decals for it. That's
Yeah, I mean, this is now quite interesting because once Odyssey comes in, you've got the possibility of 6 times elite, saying not knowing what the equivalent of double, triple elite would be. So, yes.
So like hextuple elite or something, I guess?
Sextuple, remember it.
Sextuple, is it?
Well, that should be easy for Ben. Yeah, come on. So yeah, let's draw a line under that. I think most people have said, well, or yeah, no. I think so. I think that's the best way of looking at it. But they are thinking of putting something in. So goodness knows what's going to happen there. So put it in the feedback if you don't like it. Right now, one thing that I did want to completely carry on with was this week. I'd like to hear basically one good thing and one gripe that you have about this alpha, and I definitely know what how this is going to go. So everybody strap in. So we'll start with the big one. We'll get Shan.
Why are you assuming I'm going to have some sort of tirade of vitriol? Actually, my good thing about the beta or the alpha this week was I landed on a planet with Sovereign in tow, and it was an ice planet, and it was the first time we'd seen the new plants on the new ice planet thing, and it just looked spectacular. I just really, really liked that swooping down, and they looked like little dots on the surface as I was coming into land. I thought that's a strange texture pattern, but then as you got closer, they became life forms, and that was really. I really look forward to that, and I look forward to seeing what other people uncover as well. So yeah, that was my positive thing for the week. So yeah, I like that. I've also, in my thinking, I tried to stay away from what I'm calling balance issues. So the videos we've had as players killing a player killing a cobra, or punching an anaconda, or or sudden death mode in SRVs and whatnot like that. I've kind of put those to one side because they're balance issues, and that I've been focusing more of my attention on the softer, more, I won't call them role play elements, but that kind of not game mechanic bit. And my criticism for that is, and it kind of struck me earlier on in the week, where the concourse, as it stands at the moment, the concourse is basically just a fancy version of station services. It doesn't serve any different purpose than what station services does. And it's just the thing, you can't buy a drink, you can't sit down, you can't do all this, what listeners of the show would know I refer as cardboard box stuff. And when game mechanics gets tired, people turn to the cardboard box. And if all you have is a fancy station services, I think it detracts from the longevity of the game. And I think just the whole thing of it needs a look from the let's give the players something to do. I mean, even Sleepy Pete, I happen to think personally the reason why it's called Sleepy Pete, it's almost like, oh look, the same guy's there all the time, every station, there he is, you know. And the fact we're taking the mick out of Sleepy Pete shows how much of a gap there is for stuff for people to do outside the ship that isn't game mechanics.
Yeah. I must admit, I mean, I think we have, I think we can all agree that there needs to be some kind of more interaction that you can do with other players around these social areas. Even ways to do private chats or emotes, or, you know, those kind of social things that I think you and I, Shan, are used to doing in MMOs. Psykit, Ben, what do you think to the social spaces?
Can I go first, Psykit, or shall I?
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I'm with Shan, basically. Could do better. Why the heck can't I buy a drink? Why can't I sit down? Why is 0G not 0G? Why are all the NPCs in the same position? We need so much more variety. Give us reasons to be there. And to be honest, I think a lot of that reason, like Shan was saying, is cardboard box stuff. It's all about, I want to hang out with my friends in the bar. Oops, I also crashed into the ship. I thought I heard noises.
Well, have you crashed into that space dredger again?
I've crashed into I'm now in Odyssey, but I was in the system map, and then talking to you, and then I crashed into then I crashed into the station. The shop's there, but as Shan was saying, the shop is essentially something we could do from the from our ship. you could, I guess, get an Amazon delivery to your spaceship rather than picking it up. We need a good reason to actually be there, but equally, you need a reason. You need a way not to have to go there, because you have to go to the station to collect a on-planet mission is frankly a shit reason to go onto a station. You're adding in, come out of your ship, run to the lift, go up the lift, run to the nearest terminal, collect a mission, run back to the lift, go down the lift, run back to your ship, get in your ship for something that in Horizons was basically select the the missions, and then you've got your missions just right there.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, when I did jump in with the truckers on Saturday, it was like Game of Thrones. Everyone was taking the knee.
Yeah, I mean the whole idea of squatting, of all things, as a new way to say hello.
Yes, excuse me while I have a quick squat to say hello. Yes, Psykit.
Exactly.
I would love emotes. Like a little emote wheel would be lovely, even if it's only like a few different things that we can do. Just let me sit down in a chair. I've got a bad back, The other thing that when you talk about everything looking kind of samey, I was, because this time last week we hadn't even got like another 20 light years of space, had we? Am I right?
No.
I don't know. Time is weird in the end times.
We didn't. This time last week we didn't.
Yeah, but I was really excited and really, really looking forward to going and checking out what a tourism base would look like inside. And I went to it, and there's maybe a couple more plants, and it's about the same. And I completely agree that they need. It's disappointing, not just from okay, I've got to run all the way here and run all the way here, and it's artificially extending the gameplay and artificially you're losing player agency while extending the gameplay in that manner. But also the fact, the bigger bugbear for me was the fact that a tourist landing at a tourist station with all of the beautiful statues and the parks and all the gorgeous stuff outside, it still looked exactly the same. There was not even a chrome sheen anywhere, and that felt a bit. That was not as quite as immersive for me as I wanted it to be.
Yeah, I will say one thing, that we had this exact problem when the game first started. Every space station looked the same, and there were no voices and no nothing. And then over the period of the next year or so, we started to get different interiors, and then we had ambient voices. So Frontier have a habit of just, right, that's the starting point, and then things happen.
I completely appreciate that point of view, but shouldn't they be learning from their mistakes?
I've got no answer to that one, because I'm only taking the White Knight side of things.
I know.
I completely and utterly agree.
So, Colin, what's your opinion on this?
My opinion is, right, for the first.
Yeah, I'll say, oh my God, Frontier's awesome. This looks brilliant. I love it. Go, Colin.
What? Right. Okay. What I'll say on this is that I actually love the walking around. It feels very joined up, the way that they've got the first-person shooter and the first-person stuff working with the ships. I absolutely love it. I think the immersion is, for me personally, really good, despite that. But I've put this on the. I have also put this on as feedback for the forums. You do need the tools to interact with other players at those places, because once you've got that player social tools available to you, normally the background, the bars, they come alive with what the players make of them. And that's what really makes the difference. Because I remember in Matrix Online, you would have bars and discos and stuff like that, and the layout was pretty much the same. But if you would go to basically one faction's bar, they'd have a completely different vibe, and that would be down to the players and the way those players interacted. So I would actually say maybe they don't need to work as much on the variety, but they do need to work on the way that you should allow players to interact. That will add a new dimension to it, and once that kicks in, then you don't notice it as much.
So basically, you're saying you don't want a teabag. That's right, yeah?
I don't want my only interaction to be with someone. It's basically looking as if I'm just desperate for the loo. Right. Okay. Well, Shan, you've
I'll just
summarize this.
Yeah, I'll just summarize my kind of thinking around this, and I completely agree with what you just said, Colin. Because there was a game called Star Wars Galaxies, which was really beloved by people, and why that was beloved was the community and the able to interact and all the stuff like that, and it made it a hugely richly game. But because I was chatting to a friend of mine on Discord earlier on in the week, and we were talking about this subject, and they said, "Well, I really don't care. I can't say hello and stuff. That's not what I'm there for. I'm there to grab the mission, and I'm there to go, and I don't really care about the rest of it." And so I guess this may well turn into the community question: is are we the demographic and type of player who Frontier have aimed Odyssey at? Because if you just want like Psykit said, she misses CS:GO. If you just want that lobby, get in the lobby, go do something with your thing, and come back, and not interested in what other games have done, this will do. If you want something a bit more, then this part is lacking. So I'm not sure the type of player Frontier is aiming Odyssey at, because it can't be both. Well, it can be both, but it won't be very good either.
But even something like Destiny has got like emotes that you can assign to when that is just to run around and shoot stuff.
Okay, Psykit, drop your bomb. That question's a fantastic one.
Like, if say arcs were if emotes were going to be in the game, would you pay arcs to be able to customize them? Because I know I would. I absolutely would.
Hello, Fortnite. Anybody want to do a Running Man dance?
not a Running Man dance, but like I would pay umpteen arcs to do an Arnold Rimmer salute. I would pay so many arcs to have that.
I would pay arcs to be able to whisper another player in the room and maybe have a group chat with my mates in the room without having to.
Proximity chat would be great as well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'd pay extra arcs just to make sure that Shan would do the hammer dance. In fact, actually, how about this? You pay arcs and you force a dance on another player.
I'm down as well. Completely down with that.
Oh, that's from World of Warcraft.
To troll people without a problem.
Get everybody to dance.
In 1 year in World of Warcraft, you could troll people around Easter time. You could get a magic wand.
Yes, that's something, wasn't it?
And then put bunny ears on people as they ran past. Yes.
Norman's telling us we still have this.
No, it's still in the game.
But you can still do it in WoW, can you?
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's still
I
in the game.
WoW, but yeah.
I have to admit, I was on the dear God, no, I do not want to pay arcs for emotes. And then Psykit said paying arcs for a Rimmer emote, and that just like immediately flicked me over to take my money.
I mean,
that's how they get you. That's how they get you.
Yeah.
Is this a full Rimmer or is this a double Rimmer?
Oh, why not both?
You need both, yeah. And obviously the full Rimmer is more.
Right. Okay. I mean, they do this kind of thing in things like SOTOR, because I remember that you only get a selection of basic emotes in SOTOR, and then you have to either pay money for them or become a subscriber. Go on, Shan. You want more talk about emotes?
Well, going on what Si said earlier, earnable emotes. So you
Yeah,
kill a
that too.
Thargoid, you can make a Thargoid sign or whatever it is to show you I've killed a Thargoid.
Thargoid bunny ears.
Xeno Bunny, you've killed the Xeno Bunny. You can do bunny.
You
Something
leave
like
my bunny alone, you.
something
Yeah,
like
I get
that.
you though.
Rimmer Salute would be ace, says Orange Sidewinder. Well, Rimmer was ace, so that should be fine.
What you can smoke a kipper in the galley.
Yes, we want a smoker kipper emote. Although, how are you going to gesture that? I got no idea. Yes, so obviously any Star Trek ones. Oh, hang on a second. Are some of those kind of things copyrighted?
Probably, but Fortnite gets away with it. No, they don't. They get into lots of lawsuits, but they have oodles of money. So maybe not the best course of action. Maybe they need to get the copyright before they started doing it. I'd happily contact these people for you, Frontier. If you needed anyone to do it, happily we'll get in touch with people. See if we could use it in our little space game. That'd be great.
So long as I could do the inverted victory sign, and the only use of a single digit to people, I think that would be enough.
Go full GTA.
Well, so Shan would be walking around like that all the time. He'd be like that bit in Mr. Bean where
Did you ever play?
Everyone does that.
Did you ever play Bridge Crew in VR, Colin?
Yes, I have played Bridge Crew.
If you had the Vive, you could give people a finger, couldn't you?
Yes,
if you remember.
Yes, that's. I was there going, how the heck do you do? Why are you doing that? And then, of course, the next question is, how do you do that? Because you start throwing. This is basically because everyone wants to throw gang signs at each other. Yeah, I mean, let's go. Let's put a line under this one, and move on to Ben. Ben, can you give me a positive and a gripe that you've got with what you've seen so far?
I have to admit, I'm really loving how quickly we can just jump into the frontline solution things.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of positive micro moments, I guess I would say.
Right.
I like Frontier. I like Frontline. Sorry, just jumping in, kill a few people, and then you get the vulture back.
Mm-hmm.
I love the new. Points of interest that are set up for Odyssey.
Yes.
And then you've got the points of interest that were set up for Horizons. And you've got the bases on planets that are set up for Horizons. And they make me cry again.
Is this your down? This is your gripe, is it?
So, the stuff we're seeing for Odyssey that's been newly added for Odyssey is great. We just need that attention to detail applied consistently across the classic points of interest, for example. I think it's a real shame, for example, we can't get out on foot. Well, we can get out on foot at some of the bases.
Yeah.
But
there's nothing to do there. I mean, I've walked around by myself.
Yeah, there's nothing to do. There's not even anything as simple as power so I can go off and recharge my suits. I don't know how much
there is there.
No,
I don't know how much effort it would be for Frontier to bring them up to scratch. But I really think Frontier need to put in the time and effort to bring them up to scratch, because otherwise you've just got such disconnect. It's really, really jarring.
Well, most of those outposts and settlements, if you like, those are mostly based around SRV interaction, aren't they? You're supposed to use the SRV there. But I don't think they've put anything in there yet.
They haven't, and I'm going to I'm going down to one just now, just to basically walk around, and they could be so freaking amazing. Instead, they're floating turds.
Right. Okay. So this is definitely your bugbear that nothing's been done with these. Fair enough. Shan, just quickly.
Yeah, just picking up what Ben said, and I think it links with what I said earlier. Is I think that the key thing, or the thing that links Ben's remarks and what I was thinking, is attention to detail. It's the attention to detail, the little things that just kind of build up and build up and build up until they become blatantly obvious. And so, it's like you said, Ben. I went round the base on foot, and there was no one around. It looked like a shopping centre in lockdown. There's no one around at all. And I don't know, okay, I'll land at the base and maybe I can get out and walk around. No, it's just a single room with Sleepy Pete and blah, blah, blah. And it's attention to detail. And I know attention to detail takes a lot of effort and a lot of time and a lot of thinking about. It's a huge resource thing, is attention to detail. But my goodness, does it matter?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I did, which I did find quite amusing, though. I did get out, and first I landed at one of the ports, or the planet-side ports, in fact, one of the big cities. I got out in the SRV, drove around for a bit, and thought, "Oh, this is quite nice." Then I got out of the SRV into on foot, and yes, you suddenly feel ant size compared to the rest of it. You actually feel the size of the city. And as I was walking around, I thought, well, this is not too bad. Suddenly heard an announcement over the tannoy saying that welcome to such and such city. Please bear in mind SRV races around here are illegal. And I thought, I hadn't heard that before. It goes to show that they've put a little bit of effort in, or a little bit of attention to detail in some of the places where you're going to have people docked. But it sounds as if they've missed out the outposts that were put aside for Horizons. Shan?
Yeah, again, what you just said, many, many years ago, I wrote my first and only blog post on WordPress. And it was... yes, it was about Guild Wars 2, but about Guild Wars 2 beta. And I called it at the time Guild Wars 2 was the Tin Man MMO, because its focus was on mechanics, not heart. And maybe that's what we're picking up on here, is maybe it's Tin Man Elite. It's all about the mechanics and less about the heart.
Yeah. Psykit. I've got a sneaking suspicion I'll know what your good bits are. So off you go.
My favourite bit of this week. My favourite bit of this week was finding out that I had that there were sniper rifles in the game. That was my main thing. I know we can't get them yet. Fingers crossed for Thursday. But finding out that there was a sniper rifle in the game was a big tick. And oh my god, they hit hard. I really oh yes. I really enjoy everything about a CZ or on foot CZ. I love the dynamic. There were a couple of little things that I would like to add. If we just talking specifically about that first person shooter element is going down in a team, I would really like a ping tool, like just something where I could just indicate to other people what my target is in the same way. My faction at the moment, we're in war, and everybody can see who I'm aiming at. Why can't I have that on ground? That would be really helpful, so that we can all concentrate on fire and clear through a conflict zone. That would be really fun. That's the one thing for me that we keep coming back to in our gameplay, is like having to say, oh, we're trying to aim for this person at this compass point, and then going back into Horizons and going, okay, well, I can just select Wingman 1's target, job done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's really it. I'm being super hyper specific because I appreciate everybody else's problems, stuff that they're having, but I really wanted to focus on just that core gameplay mechanic. I feel like a ping tool is entirely missing from it, or even a ping tool or a way of being able to see what your team's targets are.
Yeah. Is that your gripe, or is it just...
Yeah, that's my big gripe.
Right, that's your big gripe.
That's my big gripe. Just for that section. Yes, there are other problems. I completely appreciate that there were other problems, but I just wanted to focus on... I wanted to look at that in a little micro instance of where I'm getting my frustration, if that makes sense.
Yeah, completely. Yep. Right.
Hold on a second, Colin. I'm just going to ask Si a question.
Okay.
I haven't done an awful lot of on-foot combat yet with it, but
okay.
I did see in another video. Am I correct in thinking there isn't such a thing as critical damage for headshots and stuff like that?
There is.
It feels when I shoot somebody in the head, it feels like their health goes down further.
Yeah, I've managed to take some.
Just like my perspective.
Yeah, I'd agree with Psykit because basically, if you manage to hit someone in the body, the health doesn't seem to go down as fast. You put 2 shots into the head, and you notice the health go down really fast.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I think we should test this, and we need a Lave Radio firing squad. So you lot line up against the wall.
How about you stand up against the wall, and we'll test it on you?
Then I wouldn't be able to tell, would I?
Oh, we'll do all the telling for you.
Lave Radio first up against the wall when the revolution came. Anyway.
Well, Commander Shan would be anyway. The rest of us would be running away. It was him. Well, I suppose I've already covered my my good thing about this. The whole meshing of FPS and ship stuff. I know Shan wasn't going to mix this, but my gripe has definitely been the balance of damage that each kind of layer of combat can do against someone else. And I must admit, I think has been the little bit of not little. It's been a disappointment for me, because when you see people punching cobras and doing damage, and I mean punching SOVs and doing damage, I'm just there going, no, just no. And that was my one big. It's what I was concerned about the most when this thing came along. The other thing being that the fact that, as Shan says, he's able to turn up with his Cobra, launch some dumb fires, and basically just win a conflict zone just by splash damage alone. Is there going to be a way to counter that?
Well, what I was thinking, because as I say, when I was floating around that conflict zone, completely immune from everything, and as I say, I've only done a couple, but the conflict zones I capture the flag, aren't they? They capture the
zone, yes.
Zone retention kind of thing.
So I mean, the lazy way of doing it would just be to put great big turrets on the in the conflict zone to stop any ship coming anywhere near ever. And I'm not in favour of that solution. What I would like
prefer that they have big turrets, but players can control those big turrets.
Or what I was going to suggest was you because what the capture zone mechanic lacks is tactical and strategy, because you either camp the zone or you take the zone. It needs secondary objectives. So, for example, you capture certain parts of the base, and that base's turrets are on your side, and then start shooting the other person's ships and stuff. So there's a mini battle for control of the air going on, dictated by players on the ground. So that sort of secondary objective, I think I'd quite like that.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I have seen suggestions along the lines of, well, why don't we do a Hoth base? So basically, the ships can't fire down until basically the power has been taken out or something like that. But then that just throws up a whole load of lore issues as well. Psykit.
So
You want
there was one landing, there was one CZ that I was at where I kept, as my Frontline Solutions dropship came into the CZ, it passed an in-air conflict zone that was happening because it asked me to pick a side, which was a bit silly because I wasn't piloting a ship, but it asked me to pick a side just above the zone, and while we were fighting on the ground, you could see the ships fighting in the air. The other thing that I could see was when the drop ships were coming down, they were being shot at by some of the other folk, which I thought, like the other folk in the air, which I thought was really cool. So something that you could do is have a ground combat and an air combat happening in real close proximity, like have an air CC to make it feel more like what did they refer to it as? The sphere of combat. The sphere of combat. It's that, to me, that would be really cool, and then to have some way of being able to connect the two, maybe with weapons on the ground that activate when you manage to grab one of the particular areas that lights up, that kind of thing. That's really cool. That was a really cool experience anyway, seeing the combat above.
The combat above while you were fighting on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it was the right place at the right time, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I got confused because I thought that the conflict zones had basically the ATR flying over them like some of the settlements do, but obviously not, because I think Black Maze just flew over with his Cobra and just bombed the life out of his opposing side. Which I was just there thinking, I didn't want that either.
I know what's going to happen. They're just going to add guns, and then they're going to forget about the tactical side and all this stuff. They're just going to stop ships getting close, which would be a shame, because, as I say, I would love to see air-to-air, because it's the classic bomber versus fighter role, isn't it? So you'd have a group of people trying to shoot down the missile-laden Cobras, for example, to stop them getting and taking the base out. So you want that kind of ship versus ship, stopping the bombers getting through, stop the airstrike. You want that kind of tactical mix. You just don't want Frontier to go and says, computer says no, here's some turrets.
I'll tell you one thing I did like. The SRVs, it does feel like they've got the balance against SRVs better than they have against ships. Because
depends where you park the SRV.
Well, the SRV does just basically kill people when they run over them at full speed. That feels right to me, even though it does the SRV some damage.
I'm pretty sure a car running into you at 90 miles an hour would probably be fairly fatal too, though.
Yeah, true. Regardless of what shields
and it would dent the car.
Yeah, so I think they've got that right. I think all weapons should be able to work against the SRVs, not the fists, though. I mean, we're not talking Iron Man suit here, are we?
They did mention on today's Super Cruise News that they'd seen that, and it was something that they were aware of and something that they were looking at. So I don't think that that's going to stay in like the full.
By looking at, does it mean they shared the video around the office?
Probably. But I'm sure they're doing something about it. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Let me do this. It's a special day.
Although I must admit, other podcasts have said that they want the punching the anaconda to death to remain in because it's funny. If your anaconda gets blasted or punched to death, I don't think you'll find it funny.
Lilliput, wouldn't it, in Gulliver's Travels?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not as het up about balance as some people on the forums, because I know that they have time to look at these things still. But yeah, that's been my one big bugbear about the whole thing so far. Right. So I think, has anybody got any final points they'd like to talk about on Alpha 2? Because next time we'll be talking about Alpha 3.
I just want to remind people I did say something positive. I said I really like the plants and that's it. It was genuinely a great moment there, landing, looking at the plants, and I thought, yeah, this is much better graphically and things than it has been.
I haven't done any of that yet. I'm really looking forward to going and having a good explore at some point.
Oh, although I will tell you that at one point, actually tonight, just before coming on the show, I was in the Odyssey Alpha, and had taken on one of these conflict zones. I thought, right, just a quick blast before, get me into the mood for the show. And of course, I went to one of these conflict zones, which there's nobody. There's just you and yourself and all the control area things. And I thought, well, this is rubbish. And I was walking around the base just about to cancel when the sun came up. And the sun came up on this planet, which was atmospheric, and basically you could see the sunrise. The atmosphere was blue close to one end. It was purple over the other side of the horizon, and the stars were beginning to fade out. And for just for a minute or two, I was just sat there in the middle of this conflict zone, just going, "They've done that right." So it's one of those moments where you just went, "They've got the." It's going to be a good looker of a game. This, I'm going to love to see it when it's in on a nice planet and all the stuff.
Yeah, we had the same sort of thing when Sue was in my ship and we were coming into land. As you say, it was the lighting off the atmosphere and things like that that made it. It was really good. It was really good. A quick question though on the CZ though. I haven't played many of them, so are people feeling that the population on them is going down, i.e., less players are playing on them and going and doing something else, or is it increasing, or is it staying the same? What's people's feelings about it?
Well, I'd say it's gone down, obviously, because everyone's gone and done the testing on it and the stuff that that needs to be done. I think what's going to happen is, unless you arrange a match with a different group, it'll just be you and your mates versus the AI, really.
That's a shame.
I mean, well, it's a big galaxy. And yeah, I mean, what more can you say about that?
I was just curious. Sorry, Ed. Sorry, Ben was.
Yeah, Ben.
Just wondering, thinking about what you've just saying there, Colin, what would you like about the idea of, say, also having what we've got in Frontline in a CQC environment? And, the other side of that coin, obviously, let's have CQC, but in the real game.
Well, right. Well, you see, I made the suggestion last week of sort of, can we have an arcade cabinet in the corner of the in the corner of the bar, which links to the CQC network, because we know that the CQC is supposed to be a virtual galaxy-wide instant game that breaks all physics as far as we know it. So, I mean, I'd be happy with that. So that CQC is just seen as this sort of arcadey game. Psykit.
It's the only way I'm going to get Sextuple Elite is by being able to shoot someone in CQC. No chance I'm doing it in a spaceship. I ain't got no time for that.
Shan?
Yeah, based on what Ben was saying about meeting up and stuff, do you think the player, I can't see Frontier doing it, but maybe the players will. In SWTOR, there was Ilum, wasn't there?
There was.
So I wonder if the players are going to create, if you like, an Ilum where that's the place to go for conflict zones. So if you want to fight other players in conflict zones, you go to this place, and it's always in the state of war. So it's almost like it is like an Ilum, because I could see that being popular. Because you say the galaxy is very big, and if you want to fight other players, you either have to do it in advance or you have to take it to a recognised, agreed place. So I'm just wondering whether that's possible in the BGS to have an Ilum, or whether indeed Frontier should maybe create an Ilum.
Assuming BGS mechanics don't change, which is, it's Frontier, so they could flip a coin. But assuming that BGS mechanics don't change, if they were to create an Ilum, worst case scenario, you would have 4 days at war, then 2 days out of war as standard, or you could have 7 days and then 2 days. There is always a 2-day break between war states.
That's why I couldn't remember how gap there was. So
Yeah,
yes,
2 days. So it wouldn't be something that you could continually, even if you were manipulating the BGS for them to be, for them to cross each other all the time and to trigger wars. There is a 1-day cooldown and then a 1-day pending before war starts.
Well, there is a system in the newbie area which is constantly a war. That is there as part of the training exercises. You head there, and they've got conflict zones constantly in operation, so that people can find out what conflict zones are. Now, I completely agree with with Shannon Psykit. Maybe a place where is in a constant conflict, so that everybody knows where it is, and if that's the place that you'd want to go. But then with Elite, it is a case of you've still got to get there.
Yeah.
And that's the advantage of the CQC, is because basically you log into an arcade cabinet and that's it. You're in the game.
I'd love the idea of doing like a CQC where you could, like an actual CQC tournament though, where you could register like a team of 4 of you to go against another team of 4 and have it guaranteed that you would both be able to get into an instance and that kind of thing.
We have been wanting that since the thing that was launched. They tried something with what was it, some kind of challenge cup, and they couldn't get it to work, so the competition was cancelled. And it was such a disappointment. I know Crash was quite close to the team that were doing the CQC, and I think they were a little bit disappointed with the way it turned out in the end. I think it's. But it's one of those things that I think people are well. I know that Bruce and Arf are big fans of it, and I think people are beginning to appreciate how good it is once you get a match. It's the damn problem of getting a match.
And I think this is one of we talk about concerns. This isn't the gripe. I've had my gripe, but this is a concern. I'm concerned for the longevity of the non-exploration parts of Odyssey, because things like we talk about player league, CQC, you have your team of 4, you have a league of players, I don't know, real world rewards, call it what you like, for winning the league or whatever it is. So you have that competition element based on organized PvP in the set zone, or you have the ability just to be able to shoot and fight each other in an open area. Stuff like that builds relationships between players. It builds rivalry between clans. It's all part of a living, visceral world that exists in other games, and that many of us have experienced and enjoyed. But I don't see it here at the moment, and that concerns me.
Right. Well, on on that note, I didn't want to end on a bit of a downer, but never mind.
That's a concern. They're not necessarily up or down. They're just kind of thoughts.
Right. Well, first of all, we'll go and have a quick glance at what's been happening over in the community. Well, we do have one video to highlight for people today. This is done by Space Bear. It's called Elite Dangerous No Limits. Who can tell me about this one?
I can if no one else has seen it. And if you haven't seen it, shame on you. because it's a bloody good video. I mean, this is what I feel a full Odyssey trailer should look like. It's got gorgeous audio, gorgeous video. Just take 2 minutes out of your life and watch the darn thing. It is beautiful work.
Right.
And yeah, I don't really want to say anything more than that because just watch it.
Yeah, we're kind of scared of spoiling it, really, aren't we?
Mm.
Right. In the other news, LaveCon. Now, LaveCon is will be happening in July the 3rd, 4th this year. Pending, of
And this
course,
is looking like a full fat LaveCon, isn't it, Colin?
it is going to looking like a full fat LaveCon, as long as, of course, the government still allows it to go ahead.
And the elements of fat are 6 feet apart.
And what?
The elements of fat are 6 feet apart.
Do they
Or
have?
so.
Is that going to be the case still back in July?
No. In July, if everything goes to plan, then no, we won't need to be 6 feet apart. However, and I have to stress this, if by June that has not been lifted, it won't be going ahead. Because there's no way that we can. There's no way. We've been told by Alan and Karen that there's no way that people can keep 2 meters apart in the bar. For goodness' sake, we know how close that gets.
But
Anyway,
also in the main hall.
yeah, exactly. So, assuming that everything goes to plan. As far as the restrictions and all that's concerned, LaveCon will be going ahead on the 3rd and the 4th. We apparently still have gold tickets available, plenty of silver and bronze tickets available. So they have been selling out fast, and a new round has been released earlier in the week by Karen. So if you want to pop over to the LaveCon site, which I think we'll include in the show notes, you can I thought I told them the date of the 3rd and the 4th of July.
No, I was going to make a comment
Okay, go on.
about how could we make 4th of July Lave Independence Day at LaveCon?
Oh dear. Yeah. Anything to get an American thing in, eh?
Well, no, I think it's quite fun. I mean, it'll be for me anyway. It'll be my first time mixing with real people for over a year. So
Yeah.
for me, I am so looking forward to LaveCon to be able to see everyone and abuse Ben and all sorts of things like that. I just, I'd even make Suverine sing the Store Alert song. All things like that. I'm just so looking forward to it.
Things like Dockers. Oh no. So yeah, again, I have to stress that it all depends on whether or not the government lifts the restrictions as they are planning to on the 21st of June. Fingers crossed, everything looks okay so far, but you never know with this stuff. Okay, Shan, your serious note.
Yeah, I was just going to say one of the things that I've noticed Karen stress is that yes, the government can release the restrictions and stuff like that, but your decision to attend, it sounds obvious, is purely up to your own conscience. Don't feel pressured into it if you don't feel as though you're going to be safe or other people. So that goes without saying, really. I think that's it's a personal matter.
Yeah, that's understandable. Right. Now, does anybody have any other business they'd like to talk about before we move on to the shoutouts? Apart from, of course, Psykit, who's got a little purple tick.
No, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, we want that. You see that little laugh there? We want that. We want that, and we're going to put that at the end of every show from now on.
Orange Sidewinder is raising one valid concern about LaveCon.
Go on,
then. So Orange Sidewinder from over on YouTube is validly and correctly concerned that we do not want streaky bacon this year.
Ooh, God. We had streaky bacon last year.
In 2019, remember the bacon was American shit. Not proper bacon.
Can't import anything into this country at the moment, so I expect it won't be American bacon. It'll be British bacon because we can't get it from anywhere else.
Right. Well, on that note,
not even Danish bacon.
No, it'll be banned. The bacon goes into sandwiches, you see, which are impounded by customs.
Yes, impounded by the customs officers, mostly stomachs, I think.
If you want to try and put the thing to bed, should we shut up?
Yeah. I think this week's community question, shall we make it, would you be prepared to pay ARX for emotes? And give us a suggestion of the kind of emote you'd actually pay ARX for.
And we're not going to read them all out on the show because we know what sort of smutty minds people have, Ben.
I'll read out every single one of them.
No, we will get Psykit to read out all the smutty ones in the slowest, sexiest voice you can manage.
Mate, this is what you're dealing with.
And then you have to do it as well, Colin.
I will put on the smoothest, most Scottish silver velvet.
Okay. We actually want Obsidian Ant to read them out.
No, Colin. Right, say moist patch in
Please don't.
No. I'm trying to work out what would be the emote if you typed in / moist patch. Oh, right. Let's go to the shoutouts. Our shoutouts. Right. Okay. First of all, say hello to our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio. It broadcasts on a Thursday at 8:30. You can tune in at twitch.tv/Hutton Orbital Truckers, or if you just want the audio, go to radio.forthemug.com. For the discerning commander that likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/EliteDangerousCQC. All one word. We're also giving shout-outs to the following Elite Dangerous podcasts. We'll say hi to Loose Screws, Elite Week, Flight Assist, Elite Casts, Canon Podcast, the Fatherhood Podcast, Squeaking Fuel, System Chat, The Guard Frequency, and Allograb AM. Have we got any new ones? For those of you who'd like a literary discussion about sci-fi and fantasy books, please subscribe to the Data Slate Project podcast, which is created by our station commander Alan Stroud. Following this, we have the latest Galnet News Digest, as provided by Commander Witherspoon and Commander Beetlejude. And we'll say special thanks to Commander Tokoso, who has created the music for the introduction of the show. So, a quick thanks to everybody who has chipped in the Twitch chat. You've been amazing as usual. And have you had any in-game commanders get gobbled by the dredger with you?
No, there was another in-game commander who was flying an asp, but I didn't recognize him, and I've had no one joining me in Odyssey, although Vangtheon was standing at the bar, but not doing anything.
I probably have to say CQC action. But that's it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, then you can email info@laveradio.com. Hit us up at facebook.com/laveradio. Tweet us at Lave Radio. You can join our Discord server by going to discord.io/laveradio. We also have a TeamSpeak server where commanders come out to hang out and chat, and you can find that at teamspeak.laveradio.com. Now, do get in touch if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 British Summer Time and streamed out at laveradio.com/live. So thanks to Ben, thanks to Psykit, little purple tick, and thanks to Thanks to Shan. And special thanks, of course, goes to today's tech specialist, Commander Ventura. So until next time, Commanders, fly safe. And if you can't do that, fly dangerous.
Is your life like this? Sounds like someone having an orange inserted into it. You need a safe word.
Space can be low.
I'm going to see the galaxy.
Ah, damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Cleared for launch. Protocols enabled. Starting countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And there she goes.
Woo! That was fun!
We'll see how hammerless it feels when you're tripping over his agents every time you turn around.
Devik, those agents are the only reason you're alive.
I was told to create the most scientifically advanced weapon the world has ever seen. I did not sell it, and I did not detonate it.
Something's happening. They're what? Get down!
The Bomb. Audio drama by Emily Inkpen from the Alternative Stories and Fake Realities podcast.
Galnet News Special, 13th of April, 3307. The Fate of the Hesperus. Logs retrieved from the megaship Hesperus by the Scriveners clan, a salvage and space dredging collective, have shed some light on what happened to the Hesperus 193 years ago, in July 3113. Owned by the Azimuth Corporation, the megaship appears to have been heading for the California Nebula, just a few years after the Adamastor set out for the Coalsack Nebula. Like the Adamastor, it met a violent fate. A number of commanders have now managed to decrypt the 2 sets of logs, which we will now play in their entirety. If you wish to discover the wreck and to decipher the logs yourself, you may wish to stop listening. Each log is annotated at the start by data analysts from the Scriveners clan dredger. Log 1. Most files from the megaship's computer were uploaded without error, but this defied our archiving process. Upon further inspection, I found it to be encoded with a customised algorithm. Timestamp 12/7/3113/2105.
This is Lieutenant Kellerman, Deputy Acting Security Chief on the Hesperus. I have to report that the ship has been overtaken by enemy soldiers. Most of the crew are either dead or in hiding like us. It's Pharma Sapien, has to be. They had sleeper agents on board, including some of my own troops. How the hell did they avoid our checks? They must have been waiting all this time, but today They just opened fire. Cut down most of our security first, including Major Amaru, and then the bridge crew. The rest marched into the cargo hold at gunpoint. In an hour, they controlled the Hesperus. Private Velasco and I managed to gather about half the science team, and we've made it to the aft engineering levels without being spotted. I've disabled the sensor suite, so they'll have to search for us in person, which should buy us a few hours. I fought Pharmasapien mercenaries before. Infiltration is their speciality, but this is their biggest operation they've ever pulled, unless maybe the same thing happened to the Adamastor. It makes sense. If they attacked either them or us using ships, proximity sensors would have automatically sent a distress signal to Azimuth. Pharmasapien must know about our probes then, and that they found signs of non-human artifacts. And that means they'll kill anyone to get to them first. The scientists are asking me what's our next step. That's easy. We survive. But I don't have a clue how. How can I save these people?
Log 2. This is the second file that has resisted automatic processing due to its coded structure. The encryption resembles that of the previous file, suggesting a common source. Timestamp 13/7/3113/232.
Lieutenant Kellerman, emergency log, final entry. We've managed to move around undetected for several hours now, although it feels like the ship is deserted. The cargo holds had hundreds of people imprisoned there. We could hear their shouts ringing through the corridors, but suddenly they all went quiet. Did Pharmasapien? My God. Those psychopaths. We have a plan to jump ship. Velasco has volunteered to use explosive charges to create a distraction while I lead everyone to the launch bays. I've ordered her to rejoin us and not be a hero. I can't afford to lose her. They haven't managed to block my command codes yet, so I'll be able to get full control of all the secondary exploration craft. A few of the scientists have piloting experience, fortunately. Some of them even want to continue the mission, saying there are systems within range that may contain alien artifacts. Let's see if we get out alive first. I'm going to encrypt these logs in the central computer so Pharmasapien won't detect them. But Azimuth will, and at least they'll know what happened. Assuming they ever manage to retake the Hesperus.
Log 3. Research Sergeant Indesh obtained this file from the internal drive of an empty EVA suit. It has different encryption from the previous two logs. Timestamp 22/7/3113/940.
Recording. This is Junior Engineer O'Neill. I've just come back into the ship and found everyone poisoned, gassed. They're lying on the floor with their eyes and mouths. Oh, my God. Something's killed them all. I was out on the hull. We've been searching for non-human signals using Azimuth's data to try and locate what they were looking for. The chief started wondering if the sensor arrays were damaged, so I went out to check. Lost all comms. Came back through the airlock and found... I can't risk taking my suit off. This poison gas is probably still in the air. I might be the only one left alive, unless anyone else is suited. Have to go looking. There has to be someone else. Wait. Was this done deliberately? I know some of the Azimuth crew managed to escape. Have they got back on board? Is this them retaking their ship? I should encode this log in case they patch into my suit comms and track me. They might already know where I am, but I'm just an engineer. That's all I'll tell them. I'll tell them that Pharmasapien only brought my team along to keep the Hesperus operational after they took over, that's all. They won't kill me too. They're not murderers. They're not like us.
Log 4. Datagrapher Biblion's report. This is the second and final log from the EVA suit. Lector General Caligari has ordered that this and any similar files be transferred to the Strategy College. Timestamp 22/7/3113/1308.
I've found out what's happened. The original crew didn't come back. It's just one woman who did this. I'm looking at her body right now, poisoned like all the others. She's wearing a security uniform. ID badge says Velasco. She must have been left behind, and she killed everyone on board. I'm in the life support control center. I realized how someone could have fed gas to all the living compartments by feeding it through the primary atmospheric processes, and I was right. I can see the chemical tanks marked toxic. They're from the scientist's storage hold. I think being piped into the ventilation network. That's how she did it. Wiped out every living thing, including herself. Everyone but me. I could tear this all down, but I can't decontaminate the entire ship. There'll be pockets of these chemicals lingering everywhere, and just a few breaths would be enough. Enough to... My suit's running low on air. I have spare tanks. But how many? How long can I stay here? What do I do now? What do I do?
The logs end there. The industrial piracy of Pharma Sapien seems to have been repelled at the cost of the lives of most of the crew of the Hesperus, but a large contingent of scientists may have been able to escape and may have continued their mission to find alien artefacts. The mysterious figure, Salvation, who is driving the investigation into the historical events surrounding the Hesperus and these very early attempts to find Thargoid artefacts, has made it very clear that this is not the end of the search. They're researching the next phase of the search for the scientists from the Hesperus. There is far more yet to uncover about this historical tragedy.
Forget the Uranus talk. This is the new outro. According to scientists, Uranus is full of methane gas.
You've been dying for something to replace your Uranus.
I think you're right, though, Colin.
Pardon? What have you done with Shan, and when can we have him back? I don't know. I'm quite attached to this one, to be honest.
Yeah, that butt clenching really was awesome.
Hi, I'm Trent Stephen Findless Jr., and I'm here to tell all you pilots about a great new service. Take a listen to my friend, Pete.
My name's Pete, and I'm a long-distance haulier. I drive a Puma, shipping farm machinery from Leasty to Saweo. I love my family, and I don't mind being a hard-working blue-collar dad, but I'm tired of seeing my family grow old in front of my eyes. Every time I make the run there and back, I lose 15 days in hyperspace. My family is starting to notice that they're getting older, and I'm not. My wife had a baby last week. I did a week of shifts and now my kids got teeth. I wish there was some way my family could get old at the same speed as me.
There is, Pete.
How?
By buying into my new service, Findlist Cryogenics. We aim to put the freeze on the premature aging of your family. The process is simple.
Our unique family centres allow you to drop off your loved ones on the way to work. Simply hire the number of cryogenic pods you need and keep your family asleep while you fly among the stars. We ensure synchronicity with your flight patterns so they spend the same time awake that you spend in the cockpit.
And when you get home, bingo! Your family is the same age as you. Never lose family time in hyperspace again. We guarantee that you'll never miss another birthday, anniversary, or funeral.
Wow, Trent, that sounds great. Where do I sign?
Simply put your credit card details into our special webpage under the hashtag WeFreezeYourLove. We'll take care of the amounts, no need to worry about that.
It's so simple. I can't wait to keep my family in a secure block of ice. It's a weight off my mind.
Findlist Cryogenics, now at your local spaceport.
Findlist Cryogenics, because the family that grows old together goes cold together.
Night all.